Hi, welcome back to City Vision University's Vocation, Calling, and Purpose of Work course. In this lesson, I'm going to be explaining how you can relate personality type tests to career and calling. Now, let me just first start off and talk about some of the strengths and cautions on personality type tests. So personality type tests can be useful for providing shortcuts to understanding aspects of who people are. Providing language to discuss differences between people has been super helpful for me and my wife to understand that a lot of our conflict has to do with differences in Myers-Briggs. Framing personality type differences in neutral terms. Often people can say, I'm an introvert, and then they think that's bad. But if you understand introvert and extrovert, it just means you're going to be good at certain things and other things are going to be more draining for you, right? Potentially. And then providing general direction or domain of careers to consider. So, if you're using a personality type test to think about careers and you view it like a map, it might get you to the right state, or if you're in another country, a province. But it's not going to get you to an exact address. Now, if anyone's ever tried to follow a GPS map and you don't have the right address, it just takes you someplace random. So you shouldn't use this to say, this is my exact career. But it might be helpful to know, okay, careers in this space, might be a good place to look at. Now, some of the cautions is that personality types tests only reflect a few dimensions of who you are and are oversimplification. So in Myers-Briggs, it reflects 4 dimensions, right? And then there's other tests will do that, have other dimensions. And there's, infinite dimensions to who God's made us to be. They're not always accurate and can often be misinterpreted. So Myers-Briggs, for example, you might be right in the middle between two, and then you think that you're a complete introvert, but you're actually right in the middle. How you interpret that's going to vary. And if you take different tests on different days, you might get slightly different results. So, and they can be abused to put people in a box with unhelpful stereotypes. You can say, oh, well, you're an introvert, or, oh, you're this Myers-Briggs type, so you're like that. That's also not helpful, right? So in general, they should just be viewed as one of many tools to understand yourself and others, and just recognize all tools have limitations. That's part of just living in a fallen world, right? So just comparison of common personality tests. So I have kind of become done a lot of research on different types of personality type tests. And the most common 2 that are used around vocation are Myers-Briggs. So one of the biggest strengths, it's the most widely used overall. It's used widely in Christian circles. It's very helpful for career planning. And it has helpful language to discuss interpersonal differences in neutral ways. Holland Codes is actually the personality type that was most developed for vocation and career planning. It was originally designed for that. It's also linked to the U.S. Department of Labor job categories, and I suspect that other countries probably use it. And the other advantage of it is it has effective support for blue-collar jobs and trades, where some of these others might map and it's not clear, what do you do if you're blue-collar, but it frames things pretty well in that, and also at different educational levels. So there's other personality types, the DISC test. It's very widely used in Christian circles. It's helpful for understanding team dynamics. The Enneagram, a strength is it can be very useful in providing direction for spiritual and emotional growth. One of the weaknesses is just because of its name, it kind of freaks a lot of Christians out. There's nothing necessarily weird about the Enneagram if you use it the right way. I mean, you could use anything and turn it into a new age tool, right? But the Enneagram, it just has a weird name that people are like, is it a pentagram? Is it a hexagram? Is there something spiritual about? And that's definitely not true. And then Strength Finder is one of the most widely used personality inventories in business and Christian circles. Gives the summary of the top 5 strengths. So I'm going to give a quick overview of Holland Codes and Myers-Briggs. So what Holland Codes do, and we have another longer video, it's going to basically give you a score across 6 different dimensions. They often use this hexagon, and across each of these may show how much you might enjoy and appreciate different types of work. So, and each of these has the Holland Code name, but often there's a vocational translation of that. So realistic often goes to building, investigative is often for thinking, artistic is for creating, social is for helping, enterprising is persuading, and conventional is organizing. Now, any person's going to have, different scores on different dimensions. So you might have a combination of 3 that you're very strong in, and that might help you think through your career choice. And each of these can map to different types of careers. And part of what the U.S. Department of Labor has done is it said, for each career, what's the Holland Codes that's needed for that career. Now, Myers-Briggs breaks things up into, are you an introvert, or are you an extrovert or an introvert? And here's some summary information on that. Are you sensing? S, and N is often confusing because that's intuition, and they use the word N. So sensing often is more detail oriented. This is more big picture. Thinking or feeling, and then judging and perceiving. And I'm not going to get into all the details of that, but if you take the test, for each of these, you'll get 1 letter, and then you'll get a combination of letters. Now, what's important to recognize with Myers-Briggs is sometimes you'll be almost exactly in the middle. So myself, I'm an INXP. I'm exactly in the middle between T and F. So whenever I looked at careers, and this kind of goes into, the different aspects if you get your, personality type. Whenever I looked at careers, so you can map these personality types into different types of careers that are often chosen by people who have this type. This doesn't mean that if you're an ISTJ and you decide to be a travel agent that you're going to be bad at it. What it means is often ISTJs, if you just took a statistical analysis of ISTJs, you're going to find a disproportionate amount of those that become accountants. And so that's just as an example. And but if you're somewhere in the middle, like as I was, INFP or INTP and INFP, I looked at the careers for both of those. And we have videos you can look at that will map your personality types to careers. We also have reading that you can do, and hopefully you'll find all of that helpful. And then you can use that in some of your reflection in your own calling. Thanks.